The Forgotten Kingdom lies beyond the darkened trees, shrouded in the whispers of the past. It is said that no mortal soul has entered its gates in centuries, and none have lived to tell the tale.
This forest, it's alive, but so am I. Whatever magic protects this place, it won't stop me from reaching the Forgotten Kingdom.
But the forest guards its secrets with relentless beasts, hunters of the night that will stop at nothing to keep out intruders.
There's no end to this forest, I can't outrun it forever.
The beast hunts with unerring precision, drawn to the scent of her cursed blood. As she walks deeper into the forest, the sound of snapping branches and low growls reverberates behind her. Snow White turns sharply, her eyes widening as a dark, shadowy wolf emerges from the mist, its silver eyes glowing with menace. The wolf lunges toward her with unnatural speed, its claws tearing through the mist. Snow White sprints into the dense trees, her breath ragged as the beast relentlessly chases her. She weaves through the thick trunks, her heart pounding as she frantically searches for refuge. Snow White spots an ancient hollow tree and quickly hides behind it. She holds her breath as the wolf prowls nearby, sniffing the air. Its heavy growls vibrate through the tree. For a moment, all is still. Next, she stumbles upon a ruined stone cottage covered in glowing moss. Desperate, she forces open the door and runs inside. She falls to the ground gasping for air, but a low growl from outside fills the silence. The wolf is no ordinary creature of flesh and bone. It is bound to the very magic of the forest, its eyes piercing through walls and its senses beyond the mortal realm. The wolf crashes through the fragile walls, its glowing eyes fixed on Snow White. She scrambles to her feet, backing away as the wolf approaches with slow, menacing steps. Her fear mounts, but then something shifts in her expression. Determination replaces panic.
I won't be hunted like prey, not anymore.
As the wolf lunges for her, Snow White raises her hands, her eyes glowing faintly. She channels the latent magic within her, and with a flick of her wrist, a blast of shimmering light erupts from her hands and weakens the wolf.
I'm not afraid of you.
Taking her chance, Snow White darts through the trees once again, this time controlling the magic around her to speed her steps, her figure a blur as she escapes the wolf's grasp. Though pursued by shadows, Snow White has begun to tap into the power that flows through her veins, the same power that once protected the Forgotten Kingdom. The wolf's howls echo behind her, growing fainter as she nears the edge of the forest. Ahead, the remnants of an ancient ruin emerge from the fog. Massive stone walls covered in glowing runes stand before her. The entrance to the Forgotten Kingdom. Snow White steps closer to the ruins, her breathing still ragged but her focus unwavering. The atmosphere is thick with tension, and the sound of a distant growl echoes from the shadows once more.
The Forgotten Kingdom, at last.
But Snow White is no ordinary princess. Her blood carries the weight of an ancient curse, a darkness that has haunted her family for generations, threatening to consume her just as it consumed those before her. Snow White mistakenly falls into a shimmering pool of water within the Forgotten Kingdom and has a flashback to a grand throne room in her childhood castle. It is ethereal, with high ceilings adorned in glowing banners and chandeliers of enchanted crystals. Shadows dance on the walls, the light flickering as if under siege by a creeping darkness. In the distance, the sound of clashing swords and distant explosions of magic can be faintly heard.
The darkness comes for us all, my daughter. But you must stand against it, or it will destroy everything we love.
Young Snow White is watching from behind a pillar, fear filling her eyes as she witnesses her mother fighting the curse.
Why can't I help her? Why won't she let me? Is this my fault?
No matter what happens to me, you must not let the darkness win. You are stronger than you know, Snow.
As Lysandra falls to the ground, the shadows loom closer. Snow White tries to run toward her, but the caretaker pulls her back.
Not now, child. We must go. You must live to fight another day.
The scene fades into swirling mist as the flashback ends. Snow White rises out of the reflecting pool, with eyes filled with the same determination that Lysandra once carried, but burdened by the memory of what she has just seen. Her mother's magic was meant to protect the kingdom, but it consumed her in the end. Now, the curse is Snow White's to bear.
I will not let it consume me. I am not like her. I am stronger.
Snow White arrives at the gates of the Forgotten Kingdom with towering walls of stone covered in vines and runes. As Snow White approaches, the ground beneath her trembles, and shadowy figures appear from the mist, slowly taking form. The dwarfs are no longer simple miners. They are the guardians of this forsaken land, bound by the very elements that shaped the world. Each dwarf represents an element: earth, fire, water, time, light, and darkness. Their leader, Ignis, Fire, steps forward. He is a tall, muscular dwarf with fiery hair and molten eyes, his hands glowing with a faint ember.
We've waited centuries for your return, Princess. Your bloodline is the key to this kingdom's fate, its doom or its salvation.
I didn't come here for you. I came for the power hidden in these ruins. My mother's legacy was taken from me. I'll take it back.
You speak of power, but you don't know the cost. The curse within you is not so easily controlled.
The dwarfs look at Snow White, their eyes glowing with magic. A soft rumble shakes the earth as Terra, Earth, taps her staff on the ground.
The cursing you could destroy us all, but perhaps there's a way to stop it.
Before we let you pass, you must prove your worth. Only by surviving the trial of the elements will we grant you access to the Forgotten Kingdom's heart.
Each dwarf takes their position and summon their atmosphere, prepared to test Snow White's resolve. Snow White enters a labyrinth. The stone walls shift and grow as Terra's magic brings the earth to life. The walls close in, and dark vines reach out to grab her, forcing her to face her greatest fears. In the depths of the labyrinth, Snow White confronts visions of her mother's death and her own potential for darkness.
The curse has always been in our blood. You cannot run from it, daughter.
No, I will not become like you.
Snow White is swept up by Zephyr's winds. She hovers above the ground, surrounded by illusions of herself. Each version of Snow White is corrupted, showing her the monstrous potential of her magic if left unchecked.
You are no hero, Snow White. The curse will consume you, just as it consumed the others.
I control my fate, not the curse.
Snow White is trapped in a time loop by Chronos, time, where she relives the death of her mother again and again. The scene shows her screaming and pleading as she watches her mother's final moments. In the loop of time, Snow White learns the truth behind her mother's sacrifice and the weight of her own destiny.
She didn't die because of the curse. She died trying to protect me from it.
But even in victory, there is betrayal. Darkness has always found a way to corrupt even the purest souls. As Snow White passes the trials, Umbra, Darkness, steps forward, revealing his true intentions. His form becomes twisted and shadowy as he unleashes the dark force he's harbored for centuries.
The kingdom was doomed the moment you arrived, Snow White. You are the key to the darkness I will unleash.
Snow White, you must use the power of the elements.
Snow White, now stronger from the trials, channels her magic to fight him. The battle is fierce, with magic clashing in a storm of light and darkness. Snow White uses her newfound strength, summoning the combined power of the dwarf's elements. Flames, water, and light explode from her hands as she fights back against Umbra's dark magic.
I will not be your puppet, Umbra. The darkness ends with me.
Victory comes at a cost, for the darkness within her has not yet been vanquished. Umbra is defeated, but Snow White falls to her knees. Exhausted, the curse within her grows stronger, the darkness swirling around her.
The battle is over, but the war inside you has only just begun.
I'll fight it as long as I have to. The curse didn't end here. It begins, and when it calls, I'll be ready.
Thank you for watching. Please like, share, and subscribe for